everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday with Audra. Hey.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great.
Awesome. So as you guys know, this is a live stream show where we sit down with local business owners and just get a good inside look at what they're doing on the day-to-day to move their businesses forward, what challenges they faced over the last few months. And I'm your host, Audra Fournier. I'm a life and master business coach, publisher, just a curious person, which is why we started this. And I'm always joined with Chrissy. She's awesome. She does all the background stuff to bring this live show to you guys. Today, I have Andy Fowler with me. He is so awesome. He is the owner of Shield Tech Services, and we're going to get into conversations about cybersecurity since it's Cybersecurity Month. And he's going to give us a lot of background info. So if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to post them in the chat and we will get your questions answered. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
I'm so excited. So I've known Andy for some time now, and I've watched him grow as a business owner, and just his knowledge and his interest and his passion for his business just grows day after day, which is super amazing to watch. So Andy, give us a little bit of background of your company, what you do, and how you really got into this.
Well, Shield Tech Services is a cybersecurity firm where we go in and we manage networks to make sure that they're secure from hackers getting inside of those. We use a number of different tools, such as firewalls, email protection, spam filters, antivirus, AI, malware detection as well. So there's a lot that goes into it because, as we know with COVID has really disrupted our way of life forever now, I believe. Mm-hmm. And because of that, we're having to go back and look at things a little bit differently than what we've had in the past. So speaking with business owners locally, they've never had to really look at really securing their networks before because they've never had any issues before. But unfortunately with COVID, when we were kind of quarantined for 2 months, back in March and April, that's when the hackers really, where we saw in the IT world, really saw an uptick in their attempts. And because of that, businesses are getting hacked more and more today.
Yeah. What brought you into this industry?
Well, my wife did. It's a funny story. My wife, back in 2006, she called me one day when I was at work, and she said, the computer's doing something really weird. And I'm thinking to myself, computers don't do weird things. You have to tell it what to do. And so I'm like, okay, what did you do? And she says, I didn't do anything. I swear I didn't do anything. And I knew she wasn't telling me the truth. And I'm like, okay, let's go back. What were you doing before all this happened? Well, I had an email and I clicked on it and I thought it was a legitimate email. And when I did, the Internet Explorers just started popping up all over, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And I'm like, okay, the internet cable on the back of the computer, yes, so just disable it for now. So that's how I kind of got into it, kind of as a hobby. Started learning about viruses, malware, spyware, all the different types of nasty things that hackers try to get into. And so I've taught myself over the years. I've done a lot of reading, done a lot of video, done a lot of research. So I was able to get my wife's computer clean. And then we had family and friends talk about their computers. And she was like, oh, Andy can do that for you. So it's kind of evolved over the years, turned into a part-time side hustle job. And then 2017, April the 1st is when I officially opened the business. And it's been great. We've been trucking right along with helping businesses around Tallahassee secure their networks.
Behind every great man is a woman that upset his world.
That is a true statement. That is a true statement. True statement.
So thank you, Chrissy, so much for bringing up. This is Andy's website. Great website, by the way.
Thank you.
And so you can go there to get information, to contact him directly, to learn about some of the things that he can do for you and your business. So let's talk about COVID for a few minutes.
Sure.
In the way that it impacts your business. So I know that it's impacted most people's day-to-day lives. What are some of the things that you have come up against because people are working at home,
Right.
because they're used to being in an office with a firewall potentially? What are some of those things that you've had to really come up against?
Well, recently I had a local business approach me about setting up some remote access to their computers or to their actual server. And it was a chiropractor business here in town. And unfortunately, he took the server from his office that was behind the firewall, took it home and put it behind his Comcast modem, which is a huge no-no, huge HIPAA violation. And they were wanting me to set up remote access to that server. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. You're going to put me in jeopardy and you're in jeopardy. Get that server back behind the firewall and then we'll talk and we'll do some things. So I've seen a lot of people not take internet security protocols serious because they've never had to really think in those terms before. Business owners have never really thought about getting hacked before yet. In Tallahassee this year, we've already had 4 to 5 businesses locally that have been hacked that I know of personally. And so security should be on the forefront, but the mindset and the belief system has been for so long, why should I be concerned about security? I'm not that big of a business. I don't have that much, but yet you provide jobs to people in our communities. You provide services to the people in our community. Think of it as a insurance policy. You have an insurance policy on your home, a homeowner's policy, that if something were to happen, you would pay a deductible and get your house fixed. Think of IT service or managed services as an insurance policy, to where someone is monitoring, managing your network day to day behind the scenes so that you can continue to do the things that you need to do and be safe.
What are some of so if I'm a new business, what are some of the things questions that you ask or things that you look for when trying to, I guess, design a network? Because you do that as well for small businesses.
Yeah.
What are the things that you take into consideration or the information that you need from a business owner to be able to do that effectively?
Yeah, one of the things we first ask is, we sit down over Zoom. We can sit down, have a Zoom call, sit down over coffee. One of the first questions I ask is, have you had any security issues in the past? That's one of the first things that I ask, because as looking to provide security for a business, local business, or a small, medium, large size business, we need to know if there's been any security issues in the past. So if they have, then we need to address those issues. If not, then we continue to move forward. What is your biggest threat right now? If you were to be down for a day, how much would that cost you for a day? If you were down a week, what would that cost your business? If your data got encrypted, how would that affect your business? So those are some of the things that we ask. There's a whole slew of discovery questions that takes, that we just sit down and we ask the questions, and the business owner just answers the questions, and we take that data. We go back and we analyze that data, and then we come back with, okay, here's what we need to do first. We need to do an assessment on your network to see what you're at risk for, what you're liable for. And it's eye-opening for the business owner, because in their minds, they don't think that their business is vulnerable or that they would be liable for any type of lawsuit in case something were to happen. But then when we start showing the numbers, it really opens their eyes up to what they have and what is actually their responsibility to protect that data as well. So it's really an educational experience for the business owner. And what I like to do is just educate, give the information to the business owner, say, okay, here's what you have at risk. Here's what we can do to protect you. How do you want to manage your risk? because
Yeah.
every business out there, whether it's small, medium, or large, has risk. It's kind of the same thing like a thumbprint.
Mhm.
Our thumbprints are all different. So every business out there has a different thumbprint, meaning that they have a different amount of risk that they're liable for or could be liable for. So we help protect that. When we go in and we analyze the data and we come up with a solution and say, okay, here's the solution. How do you want to manage this? How do you want to move forward?
Yeah. I'm sure there's quite a lot of questions that you ask. Do you deal with secure or personal information?
Yep.
Do you have a growth plan for your business? Do we need to incorporate the concepts of, you'll be adding teammates in the future, and how are we going to create a system that works around your growth?
Right.
What kind of station, work desk setups do you have currently, and how do you want to integrate these things? I'm sure there's a lot of questions, and it is a lot of education, especially because business owners, we start a business because we have a skill or a talent or a passion or something like that. And we put into the place all the things that we need. We'll get QuickBooks because that's a thing that we're going to need. We get, an office because that's something that we're going to need. We go buy a couple of computers because that's something that we're going to need. But we don't necessarily think about the security blanket that we need to put around all of that information to be able to protect ourselves and our clients. From that information, and like you said, the responsibility that we have in holding that securely. With doctors' offices, it's kind of kind of a known thing that you have to comply with HIPAA,
Yes.
and all that, because those rules are out there. But for the rest of us business owners, that we're not having to comply with regulation, we don't really think about it.
No, and that's one of the things that that we're having conversations about, is just kind of educating the business owner on the threats are out there. The threat is real. It's a matter of time. And if you get hacked, what hackers are looking for are repeat customers. What are all businesses want? Repeat customers. So once you become a customer of being on a hacker and getting hacked, you're getting put on a list. And let me clarify, to hackers, this is a full-time job for them. This is what they do. This is what puts the bread and the milk on the table for them. And so they do it relentlessly to try to get you to click on the links, the phishing emails that are sent, that are not, they look kind of legitimate, but they're not legitimate.
So give us some tips on that, because I assume that it's one of the most vulnerable parts of running a business is users just not knowingly opening emails and things like that. So give us, if you have a couple of tips on how to protect ourselves in that way, what do we have to look out for?
Well, 92%, and that's 92% of data breaches are because of human beings. That's huge. What I would do, and what I would suggest, and what I tell potential clients or customers, is just to slow down and take a deep breath when you're looking at emails. Okay, don't rush to kind of open an email. See who it's from. Don't click anything in the link. See who it's from. A lot of times the email address where it's from is going to give you a huge indication this is not a legitimate email. There was an email going out recently for SunTrust that I saw recently that got hit in one of my email accounts, and they had went out and bought the domain sun, TUST.com, and left the R out, and everything else in the email looked legitimate, but it was not. So if you slow down, take a deep breath, look at what's coming in. Do you have a Netflix account? No, I don't have a Netflix account. Then them canceling your Netflix account is not, it's not going to hurt you. Never give out information to anybody, to your bank. If you get an email from your bank asking for your username and password, don't give that information. Anybody that's from the government that's calling you for login information, don't give them out. Anybody that you don't know, don't give them any information, period. Recently had a client that called me, and she said that I've been hacked recently. Amazon called me and said that they had noticed someone had ordered a $250 watch on my Amazon account. Did you order it? And she was like, no, I didn't. And she was an elderly woman. Well, we need access to your computer in order to put the money back into your account. So she was like, okay. So she gave them access. She ended up losing $3,000 because of the hackers. So never give anybody access to your computer that you don't know who they are. Microsoft, another one which is happening right now, is Microsoft supposedly is calling people locally. Hey, we've detected a virus on your computer. We need access to your computer in order to get rid of the virus that's on your computer. Okay, what do I do? Microsoft's not going to call you. So don't give them access.
No, and I've gotten, when you call banks sometimes or different institutions, you know, you'll go through the messaging section and they're like, we will never call you. So if you have gotten a call from us, it is not us because we will never call you. And I thought that that's kind of neat that even on the other side, the institutions are trying to educate everybody about this whole problem.
Right. Multi-factor everything, you know, with login information. If you don't know what multi-factor, two-factor authentication is, we can chat, you know, and help you get that set up, you know, later on this week. But when you want to log in to a website, possibly it's a bank, possibly it's a Twitter account or a Facebook account, you can go in there and click two-factor authentication, where when you log in, you get a text message on your phone with a code, and you just type that code in, and then it gives you access to your account. That is a huge, safe way to secure your Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, bank accounts out there. So please, if you don't know how, let's get together after the call today, and we can get that set up for you and show you how to do that as well. Yes.
And I know that for a lot of people, it's like, oh, it's just so much of a pain, but being hacked is even more of a pain.
Yeah.
Having to deal with, you know, setting up your two-factor authentications, and a lot of emails have them on now, as well as, like you said, social medias and all of that stuff. So what do you think are the most interesting trends that are kind of coming for your industry, in addition to two-factor authentication? Because you said you do a lot of research and education and things like that. Are there any neat products that are kind of out there that can help people on their day-to-day with their personal systems or their business systems?
Well, with technology evolving as it is, a lot of things, the way that technology is being developed to protect you now, there's a lot of artificial intelligence out there. And I've just installed 2 firewalls that are artificial intelligence here locally that helps protect you from hackers getting into your network. There's a lot of things out there that we can take a look at. There's a lot of tools in the toolbox that we can use to protect you. There is, you know, things that, like for email security is one, spam filtering is one, to where it will take those emails that are spam and just not even put them into your inbox for your business, so that you can actually go in there and look and see, yeah, I want to release that. Looks like a legitimate email. I'll release that into my inbox. Otherwise, it won't ever go in there, and keeps that part safe from you receiving those emails that, you know, you'll click. There's artificial tools that we use that are devoted to the managed service providers, which is, I'm one of them. And those are things that we can talk about to see, because each business is going to be different. Each business is going to require different compliance issues. Some will, some won't. And we can take a look at that and see which would benefit the business for the business owner.
So what, kind of give me the short and sweet of what is managed services?
Managed services is to where me as a company monitors your network on a day-to-day basis, to where we adjust things in the firewall, We update all the software to make sure all the patches are done. That's what happened with the WannaCry a few years back. If you guys remember that, that was huge news. Microsoft got the tip that this WannaCry virus was going to come out. So they sent out a patch, and they told people to patch your computers as quickly as possible. Those that did never got the WannaCry virus. Those that didn't ended up getting the virus, and businesses suffered greatly for it. So those are the kind of things. We keep everything up to date. We keep the virus definitions up to date on all of the tools that we use that monitor your computers. We update the virus definitions that are on your firewall daily. Daily companies are updating these. So we make sure we go in there and we update everything to where everything's patched, everything's ready to go. If there's anything that needs to get through the firewall, we discuss that with the business owner. If there's concerns that we have, from a security standpoint, we discuss that with the business owner to say, hey, this is coming up as a security issue. We may want to look at this a little further before we allow this rule in the firewall. So those are the kind of things that we look at. And as a managed service provider, it's really 24 hours, 7 days a week to where we manage everything.
Yeah.
And then if issues come up on computers, we have support tickets that are automatically created that sent to us that alert us that, hey, there's an issue. And a lot of times we're able to correct those issues before the business owner even knows anything about it, or the worker at the computer knows anything about it. So those are some of the things that we do. We're also in a peer group of probably, 2,000 to 3,000 IT professionals from around the globe that we meet weekly. On a weekly basis, where we discuss issues, we discuss trends, we discuss what's working, what's not working, what's coming down the pipe. And so it's really beneficial to be around different peers because business owners benefit from that service that we provide.
Absolutely. Shared knowledge.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan, and thank you. Budget Printing was, if you didn't see it come up on the screen, she said, Andy is our IT guy. He takes great care of us. Love hearing, happy customers. That's a wonderful thing. So shout out to Crystal at Budget Printing.
Yep. I love Budget Printing.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yep.
So really, you provide peace of mind in a sector of the business that most business owners are not knowledgeable or skill set, don't have that skill set. You provide all of that by taking on all of that responsibility and watching their system for them.
Correct.
They're like the
Yes.
night watchman for IT.
Right. And, one of the things, it's funny, Crystal, I love Budget Printing, love Crystal. But she got to the point to where she was like, I can either spend all day trying to figure out how to do this, or I can just have you do it. And she was like, I'd rather you do it so that I can focus on running my business.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, is the peace of mind that you just mentioned. At the end of the day, do you want to use your time to research a bunch of stuff, or would you just rather hire somebody to come in and just say, hey, here, I really need you to manage this for me? Absolutely, we can do that for you.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, that's good business sense right there.
Yep. Time for money.
Yeah, exactly. You don't spend 13 hours trying to research something when you could pay somebody else to get it done in an hour and a half.
Correct.
I know that you also explain because I know that you have had a project here lately where you've been installing a lot of access points. So what are access points, and how does that play in with a business's network?
Yeah, access points is just Wi-Fi, internet. A lot of businesses around here, we've got a lot of old buildings, so the internet waves, if you want to call it that, can't get through some of the walls. So we set up access points so that people can have Wi-Fi to be able to connect their laptop or their iPad, their iPhones to that. And it's just connected into the network, either through a switch or a firewall, depending upon their layout. And we can set up guest networks to where guests can only access the guest and not the internal internal network, so that way they're safe. The guests can have access to Wi-Fi while they're waiting. They're doing business there with the business owner, and having peace of mind that the guests are not going to get into their internal network.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kind of what has helped you get where you are, and what advice would you give to somebody that's kind of starting out in this industry? I know you've had to overcome some challenges as a new business owner, which new business owners do.
Yeah.
What would be a piece of advice that you would give to a business owner that's maybe starting out and has some interest in this sector?
Never give up, never surrender, continue to push forward, continue to learn. IT is the most exciting industry for me as a business owner, because I learn so much on a day-to-day basis. Continue to learn, continue to stay on top of things, continue to get around other people that are better than you so that you can learn from them to be a better not only business person, but a better IT person as well. I'm in two peer groups. I meet on Wednesdays and Thursdays. There's people in there that are, been doing this a whole lot longer than I have. If I have an issue, I can't figure something out, I call, and generally it's something I hadn't thought of. And then once I talk to so-and-so and say, hey, try this, we're able to solve the problem. And so surround yourself with other people that are better than you. Audra, you're a business coach, and I know that you surround yourself with people that have been coaching longer than you have, because you want to become better. Mm-hmm. It's the same concept. Never give up, never surrender, continue to push through, continue to learn, and you'll get to where you want to be.
And IT is such an ever-changing, it's constantly changing. Like there's new things coming out, new updates, new patches, new versions, new possibilities to configure things.
I truly don't see this as a job, because to me, it's not a job. I love it. I absolutely love IT, and it's not a job for me. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I love helping business owners protect their businesses and educating people.
That's awesome. I know that absolutely goes into, as a coach, that makes my heart happy, because finding people that are passionate about what they do, no matter what it is. You could underwater basket weaving, if that's your thing, then that's awesome. And so I'm so glad that you do something that you're passionate about, because your ability to convey that to business owners that are confused or frustrated or just really don't understand the best way to go about something. It comes with authenticity, and it comes across that you're interested in them, in their business, and building the relationship more than just
absolutely
owning a business. So, do you see any particular interesting trends for the next coming year that maybe we should keep an eye out for and possibly apply to our own IT environments?
There's always trends out there for right now, and the biggest that I've already mentioned is just the business owner's belief system of my business is never going to get hacked, and not being able to, for business owners, they have been for so long not having to worry about this, as far as security. And now COVID has really changed things up, and I think we're going to be forever changed because of COVID. Because businesses now realize, hey, we can work from home and still be productive. Mm-hmm. So there's the concern, definitely, of working from home and not having proper security in place. And those are the things that that we as IT professionals, and this has been our discussions in our peer groups, is the mindset that has to be changed in educating people. Yeah, that is our biggest challenge right now, is the education part and the belief system. I sit in this chair every day because my belief system says it's going to hold me and my weight up, and I've done it so many times I don't even think twice about it. I just sit down in the chair because I know it's going to hold me up. That's the belief system that we're trying to change in business owners. Is the threat is out there. It is real. For example, one business that got hacked here back in August ended up affecting potentially over 7,000 of their customers as well. So that's potentially over 7,000 other businesses that got potentially or could have potentially been affected by one hack. And so people need to realize and understand it is a serious threat out there that hackers are doing right now.
And they have to find a way to protect themselves, no matter whether they're at home or whether they're at their own.
Correct.
Putting in the right things in place.
Correct.
So much awesome information, Andy. Is there any other pieces of advice that you kind of want to throw out there? And then also, how do people contact you if they're interested in having, a review of their system or have questions?
Sure. You can go to my website. My phone number is 850-848-9969. You can email me at andy@𝐏𝐚𝐫𝐿techservices.com. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to discuss those with you. If you would like a cybersecurity assessment of your network for your business, reach out to me. Be happy to set that up and discuss that with you. No charge for doing that. Love to educate local businesses or whomever on what we do and how we can protect you.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. And you guys,
thank you for having me.
Give him a call if you have any questions. He's happy to sit down and have a chat and give you some knowledge about your own network to see if there are some security that you can put in place or some updates that you can do just to help keep yourself and your team and your customers information safe. So I really enjoyed having you on today. And as you know, I will, he's my IT guy, and I call him when I'm like, I have no idea what's happening, because that's not my skill set. That's what we do.
That's not your jam.
Not my jam. I call him up and I'm like, things are slow. Can you fix this? So thank you so much again for being on the show. And thank you guys for tuning in and giving comments and questions. And we will see you next time.